Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me, Annie. And again, yes, my name is Batia Hill. I'm with Elevate Energy. We're a nonprofit organization, but I just want to say thank you for taking the time out to join this conversation and listen to what I have to say. I know we have a lot going on, busy lives. So, but I did want you to see my face before I share my screen with the presentation. But welcome everyone, and thank you again. So I'm going to give me a second while I share my presentation. Can everyone see this?
Yes, we can. If you
Oh,
put it in slideshow mode, though,
oh
by going to
yeah,
that
right. That's a good
bottom, then
idea. That's a good idea. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oops. Okay, so like I said, I am, excuse me, Vatia Hill with Elevate Energy, and I'm a community organizer. So my job is to introduce information and provide resources that we offer to different communities. So I have to seek and build relationships and do things like this to let people know that Elevate Energy is here to help and make a difference in the communities that all of us live in. Excuse me, that is my son in the background. So we're a nonprofit organization, and we give people the resources they need to make informed energy choices. Um, Getting energy use right, it saves money, right? It increases comfort in your homes, creates jobs, and protects the environment. And everybody deserves to reap the benefits of energy efficiency, even if they're hard to reach. And that's really important. There are, communities that may not have certain information or not have the resources to make decisions to save energy or even know about it. So we like to reach hard communities that are hard to reach or people that quote unquote need it the most. And I'll speak more about that. So we're a nonprofit. We were established in 2000, so we've been around for 20 years. This is our year, and it started out with we were with another group at that time, but we separated from them. We're funded by the ISEF program, which is a foundation. We get a grant from them to do this work. And we apply for it every couple of years so that we can, I get paid and we can continue to make a difference in different communities. But that funding was generated from the Energy Infrastructure Modernization Act in 2011. So that came about because, as we all know, as we started, you know, changing, obviously, infrastructure, we realized how much we're wasting energy and how important that is to educate all of us, especially as we continue to grow as a globe, how important it is to be more energy efficient in our homes and help people save money. So we help people learn how to cut costs with some of our different programs. It helps protect the environment, which we all know how important that is, especially at this time, again, as we continue to grow as a globe, and ensure that the benefits of energy efficiency reach all people. Like I said again, that is one of the cornerstones of our organization. Um, if, Information isn't always easy to reach it if you don't have the resources to get the information. So we that's very important to us as well. So um, we're going to kind of switch. So when we talk about electricity, and this conversation is broader than that, but we're kind of gearing it towards electricity because that is the one of the basic things that we all understand and know for the most part. We all use it. Everyone uses it um, every day, all day. So we all get energy or electricity from certain delivery ways. So your utility company, which if you live in Illinois, it's either ComEd or Ameren territory, which is the southern part. Um, Retail electric supplier. So um, that is an alternative supplier. So if someone has come to me and said, "Do you want to change from ComEd?" Do you want to get a lower cost for your electricity service? Sign up with us. That is that is what that is, but it's also challenging to describe that because um, it can also be a dangerous decision to make, and it may not always save money on your bill. And then if you live in a municipality where it's you're not really through ComEd, you through um, your local government or something like that, they we work with them as well. But again, it depends on um, all of those. It really depends. So if you have any questions about that or you live in those type of areas, I can discuss that with you. But it's not always black and white. But like I said, um, most of us probably are in ComEd and or Ameren in Illinois. So this is okay. So let me explain something about why I have this bill up. So we get a grant from, like I said, ISEF, and part of that grant, um, we have to talk about, like I said, electricity helping people save money. ComEd, because once ComEd decided, or once they had to, once the law said you can't deliver and supply electricity because it's a monopoly, um, ComEd had to basically share that responsibility. So that's why we have alternative suppliers. Because otherwise it's just ComEd is just eating up everything, right? Um, but up until that time, ComEd has had like a kind of a bad rep in the community. People are concerned about their bills. There's just so many things that people were concerned about. They have contracted out like 32 different nonprofit organizations, and we are one of them. We are not ComEd. Um, we do have we have a relationship with them, and because we're talking about people saving money, we talk about ComEd because that's most of, for me, especially in my territory, since I'm in Chicago or the northwest suburbs. So that's why we have the ComEd bill. I don't work for ComEd, but we do have a contractual relationship with them, only because we need to get things right when we speak about them in the community. So this is what a bill looks like. Everyone knows what it looks like. If you see the green circle, that is our supply. It should say ComEd if you're with ComEd. Um, and if you're not, you probably have an alternative supplier. And we can talk about that if you have any questions about alternative suppliers again. But it should say ComEd. That is, oh no, actually, I'm wrong. If it's, yeah, it should say ComEd. But if it says something other than that, you have an alternative supplier. And everyone gets their electricity through ComEd delivered through, because all of the infrastructure, everything that you see, the lines, the buildings, those huge poles, that's all ComEd owns that. And I might talk about that later, but ComEd will always deliver your electricity. Never, that will never change. But you can change your supplier. So, like I just was talking about the infrastructure of how we get our electricity, it's part of something that we call the smart grid or the smart meters. And the reason why we call it smart is just a marketing thing. Everything's smart now, everything's electric, everything communicates to each other. And that's something that ComEd decided to spend probably millions and millions of dollars to change the infrastructure of how we get our electricity after 100 years, because it just wasn't working. So um, everyone should have one of these, something like this in their home. And the issue, I think, if some of us are on the call that people are having issues with their billing, estimated billing was a thing at a time. Like they would estimate how much energy or electricity you use based on how much electricity you used previous months, and then you would get it, and it was just a complicated system. So they had to fix that. And then, like, if something happened, if there was a blackout, um, they can fix it quicker. Previously, it would be where could take hours for your electricity to be restored. It could be potentially dangerous if you need electricity to live, like an oxygen tank or something. So now we can get electricity fixed quicker if something happens, and then we can communicate back to ComEd. So we're now working together versus it being a one-way system like it was before we did this whole smart grid and smart meter update. Okay, we talked about that. So typically I would do this question like, what time of day do we all want to use electricity at once? And people would raise their hands and guess. But not right now, I guess. But so there, so how and so how electricity, how the market, it's a market, right? Electricity market. So it's ups and downs. How when the demand is high on the grid, it changes the price of how much you're paying per kilowatt hour. So it depends on when you're using your energy the most, right? Or your electricity. And so it's expensive for consumers when, okay, so let me explain this differently. So what this is saying, so it says expensive for consumers, it's harmful to the environment. So when the demand is high on the grid, who's using the electricity the most? It's not consumers. So it's not the individuals at their homes. It's actually businesses because they operate huge facilities. So when they're open, it's taking most of the demand on the grid. So, and most of the time, we're not even home either if you're working or, unless you're at home, you have a home business or you're at home with your kids or whatever. But most of us are outside as well, using the grid too, because we're at work, right? We're going to the grocery store, the store, whatever. So we're out there using the grid, and these big facilities are, which puts a huge demand on the grid, which creates a problem for the environment, and I will tell you that about that later, more, I should say. So because of that, we have these programs. They're called dynamic pricing programs, and this is ComEd. So ComEd, but this is also TwoFirst. So this is for you to understand how you can make a difference in your own home and share this information with your neighbors. It's not necessarily about signing up for programs, but it's really having this information so that we can all make a difference, help ourselves and help our neighbors, really. So there are different programs that you can sign up for to immediately make a difference in your savings costs on your electricity bill immediately. And we'll talk about that. So if we look at this, if you have your bill in front of you, this number is not accurate, the 6.195, because it fluctuates. So, but it's fixed. So it changes twice a year, the ComEd fixed rate. So every time you sign up for a ComEd bill, no matter who you are, you're going to get one rate. It's called the fixed rate. And it's something around that number. I think it's 7 points. I should probably have changed this. I apologize for that, but it's a fixed rate. So if you haven't made any changes on your bill, everyone has the same fixed rate. Now, because of the market electricity, the market fluctuates. When I say the market, I mean the electricity market. So like I said, when demand changes, it fluctuates and it brings the price down or up. So sometimes during the day, the actual market is under the fixed rate. So, which is why they created programs like hourly pricing, which honestly, I have to say, I just signed up for 2 months ago, and I just saved 50% on my ComEd bill. So I think everyone should be doing that now, especially now. And I'll see more about that later. But hourly pricing is like I said, hourly pricing. So depending on how we're using the grid, how high the demand is on the grid, it changes the cost of per kilowatt hour of what you're using. So for instance, right now on this screen, it says 6.195 cents. But if you look at this hourly pricing screen, there are some times during the day where it's under the fixed rate. So I'm pushing the hourly pricing now. I mean, at this point right now, hourly pricing is at 1.9 cents per kilowatt hour. Everyone can go to ComEd.com and look up hourly pricing. Um, and uh, and you're going to save money, and it takes about 30 days for it to cycle through to see a difference, but it's kind of a no-brainer. But especially at this time, we're all home. They're not, so but even still, you know, it it probably won't reach that. It'll probably increase, but I don't know if it's going to hit that fixed rate for a while. So we talked about alternative suppliers. So if you have ever been contacted by one, here are some things you could double check to make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of by these companies. I also signed up for an alternative supplier, so I do, and it was cheaper for about 2 months, and then it just jumped, and I was actually paying 11 cents an hour per kilowatt hour at one time. It was crazy when the actual fixed rate was at 7 cents an hour at that time. So anyway, so here's the thing. You have to really, first of all, you look at your electricity bill and you see if your supplier is ComEd, which it makes sense if it is. If it's not, then you should double check what your rate is and compare that to what the ComEd fixed rate is. If you have to pay something, that's questionable. Um, And if you choose not to be with them anymore and they charge you a fee, um, that's also a problem. We've helped people. Actually, we work with something. I think maybe some of you heard of CUB, which is the Citizens Utility Board. We work very closely with them, and they help people with situations like this where um, they were being taken advantage of by an alternative supplier. And if you are having an issue getting out of a contract, I can definitely put you in contact with someone to help you with that. So again, we're talking about dynamic pricing. So dynamic pricing is just a large term for the pricing programs that you can sign up today, right away, and save money right away, and help the grid, help the environment, and your neighbors. So we talked about hourly pricing. Some of the things I'll just skip through because I'm kind of talking over some of these slides. But so there's another program which is part of a dynamic pricing program. So we talked about hourly pricing, and now we're talking about peak time savings, which is also something that you can do a little bit more research on. Everyone can, again, some people. Uh, so peak time savings, everyone should really sign up. You don't lose anything if you sign up for it. It's just when the demand is high, ComEd will send you a text or an email or something that whatever you're comfortable with, letting you know, like if you can reduce your energy between 1 and 5 or 3 and 6 or whatever they say when they know the demand on the grid is going to be the highest, you save a couple cents. It's not a lot of money. So I think I saved 50, 40 cents the other day, and I was like, nice. But but it doesn't hurt you to do it. So it just helps the grid. It helps you be more conscious about how you're using your electricity in your home. So after a while, you start to like think like, do I need this light on right now? Do I need to, you know, do 4 loads of, my run my dishwasher or laundry right at this point? So you start to make different decisions, which really makes a difference over time. So, another question that I ask when I'm in person is where does our home lose the most energy? And people raise their hands and they say windows, walls, whatever they say. So, if actually 68% of energy loss is from our attic and basement. And in theory, we're like, yeah, that makes sense, right? Because energy, heat in, heat out, right? 22% of our walls, if that's insulation, and then 10% of our windows. So people are actually surprised by the 10% of energy loss from windows, because how often do we replace windows when we think we need to save more energy? And windows are expensive. So, and if you think over time how much money you're actually saving, it doesn't make sense, really. Um, so, ultimately, the solution to saving energy or correcting the energy loss in your home is air sealing and insulation, and that's specifically related to your attic and your basement. or floors or whatever, however you live. So obviously, in the summertime, cool air, right, is leaving through your basement, hot air is coming through the attic, and it kind of all shifts, especially if you don't have your attic insulated properly or you have holes in your foundation. And then obviously for the winter, it's the opposite, right? Cold air is coming in, going out through an attic, inadequately installed or installation in your attic. And we've all learned this stuff, right? But it's always good to remind ourselves. So I'm not going to go through all these little details, but um, ComEd, and actually we do, if you have so we did have a program if you had a single family home. Elevate Energy had a program if you had a single family home, we would come in and do an assessment. Now that program has no longer been funded, but we do have a program that if you have a building that has 2 or more units in it, we come and do a free assessment and we look to see where your energy loss is, and we do between 70 and 100% of the work to fix those problems and subsidize that for you. Um, but ComEd doesn't have a program for anybody that wants. So if you're a single family homeowner, you can call them and they will come and do an assessment of your home for you to see the things that you can actually do. So they don't subsidize you; they just tell you, they give you a little report, and then you can make decisions on how you want to fix them. But there are little tips that you can already do in your home that, you can, check your insulation in your attic or check wherever you feel like you're losing the most energy in your home. And it could be the windows, but you could have it sealed better, and just take a look at those little things that you can just do today or tomorrow or however, So this is do it yourself. And here you go. Um, so small things, obviously, checking your filter. Um, and they say 30 to 45 days. I just changed my filter the other day and it was so filthy. And I'm just like, because I was like, I'm going to start using my air now. And, so it's just things like that that we can double check on. Um, and again, like I said, you check yourself, you look in your attic, you look where there are gaps in where where you plug in things. I can the outlets, there you go. Where you plug in where your outlets are, sometimes air gets lost there. Um, or heat depending on the time of the year. And you can do some little work behind you can get like some little foamy things that you can get from Home Depot. Um, you can do really important is to check your windows and recaulk them versus replacing them because it's not that necessary to replace your windows unless obviously if you really want to, but when it comes down to saving energy, it's not the most you know financially beneficial for that if you can just do that. um Here we go, kind of the same things that I'm saying: install storm windows, caulk and weather strip, repair cracked or damaged glazing. This is about improving what the windows you already have. And this is I'm a renter, so I'm not a homeowner, but I do these things too. So I have a friend that is like a contractor person, and who does like little things like this for me. Even though I don't own it, I'm still like thinking about how to save energy in my little apartment. So the installation is, I know, this looks overwhelming for me personally, but there are some people that love this type of stuff, and there are ways that you can actually obviously put new insulation in your attic. Um, and of course, there are two types, and you can um oh no, this is a spray foam one. Where's the oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. How did I miss something? Sorry, this is a user error. So please bear with me. I apologize for your patience. I'm trying to go back to where I came from. Annie, can you chime in and tell me what?
If you click your the left arrow, it should go back a couple of slides. Or
Oh, that's the end. Okay, so that's not right. Okay, let's just go here.
here we
Okay,
go.
well, I'm almost done, guys, actually. So let's go back up. And I'm not going to talk about every little thing that you can do. So, but I will just, okay, here I was. Okay, so like spray foaming in your in your attic, around pipes and things like that. Obviously, weather stripping your windows. Like I was talking about the outlets, you can put like the little foam behind it, and so you can keep the air out because interesting enough, you do lose a lot, and you know how many outlets we have in our homes. So, but let me, how do I bring it back up? Oh, okay, got it. Thank you guys. Um, okay, um, so this is a infrared camera that took a picture of an attic that didn't have an insulation, and if you can see the all of the red and the dark, that's how significant of the air that was leaking out of that attic. So it's very important to kind of double check that. Um, Walls, like we did mention, they are 22% of your energy loss in your homes. Um, so that's something to always consider as well. I mean, it can be a lot of work, so that's probably one of the last things people want to really do. But obviously, it's a thing. So rim joist. So that's part of your basement mostly, and it connects, you to the foundation of your home. And again, like we said, that's where most of your energy is lost. So double checking gaps. Sometimes, when we get work done, like if we're getting something installed, like our cable maybe, and they're putting holes here and holes there, and then they're not patched up over time, those leak um, air, heat, energy. Um, Water heating costs. So like I mentioned, one of our multifamily programs. So if you have a building has two or more units in it. Um, One of these things we replace for people. Even if you're a nonprofit organization, we work with nonprofits and we do the same type of subsidization for them. And a lot of times we come in and have to change um, or will change their water heaters or their furnaces or whatever they need to function, because again, those are the biggest energy or electricity sucks out of homes or anything. So again, if you know a nonprofit that could use an energy assessment, or if you know anyone that has a multifamily building, we will come and do the assessment for free and then subsidize between 70 and 100%. So keep that in mind. And again, one of those biggest things that we replace are like the furnaces, water heaters, and stuff like that. So one of the easiest things that we can do outside of calling ComEd and saving some money on your electricity bill, you can change your light bulbs. We all know this, yes. You can. Um, it's it's actually like the easiest thing you do to make a huge difference on your energy efficiency and making a difference on the grid. I apologize for the children back they're outside. They're having a great time. Um, so obviously, everyone's kind of leaning towards the uh, fluorescent lamps now. Um, So that's something that you can do tomorrow as well. And they last long. I don't want to skip that part. Okay, I skipped it. Okay, so little things that you can do, you actually can save money, and ComEd actually helps you with this. They do give you rebates, and if you are interested, I mean, some people don't care that much, but if you start to add up all the little costs that you can save, it does make a huge difference. So um, they when you start with, if you want to replace anything, or if you request information about a rebate, they do have that information for you. So that's another conversation that you could have with ComEd. So, another little tool tip that you can do at home when you just want to save a little bit and start being more conscious about how you can save energy in your home is unplugging things. We've all know this. We all know this. So, but it's not. It's the bigger items like your computer. Maybe not the desktop computer, but maybe your laptop that's charging all day, or a fan that you may have running. Whatever you have that runs your phone charger is not that big of a deal, but just being conscious about unplugging things, because what happens is it's even though you may not even be using it, and if you leave things plugged in, it's still sucking energy. It's called a phantom load. So energy is, even though it's not plugged into that appliance, it's still using electricity. So that's something to keep in mind, like small things like a blender. If you keep your blender plugged in all day, um, so stuff like that. So paying attention to um, your appliances, small appliance, not the big ones, not the refrigerator, nothing like that, but things that you can actually manage. Okay. So um, we're there's a new conversation about water. Depending on where you live, it's a really big deal, and so I know that a lot of people. Some people don't like to flush their toilets too often, or that's the whole toilet situation, or doing your laundry. So it's important to be conscious about how you're using the water too. It's not it's not it's still energy use, and that again, it's about how the little things that we can do that make a difference, not just for us but for our neighbors too. And over time it does make a difference. So let's see. Yeah, like checking your leaking toilet, just checking things, your faucets, your toilets, if something's wrong. um okay, so these are little tips. I don't let's see. I'm gonna skip past this. Oh, here's a cool tip. So you know how so sometimes when we take showers, like we turn the shower on and then we go and do something for another couple of minutes and then jump in the shower, take it. So they're saying keep showers in 5 minutes. I mean, it's doable. Um, but even if it's 7 minutes, we don't need to be taking 30-minute showers, 20-minute showers, right? Um, but again, ultimately is just monitoring, being more conscious about how we're using our resources in our homes. Again, and I will keep saying this, it's not just for us in our own homes, but it helps our neighbors, which ultimately helps our communities and the environment in the whole. So and then like run the washing machine only when it's full. How many times do we just throw a couple things in the washing machine? A towel or two, something, sometimes there are emergencies. There are times when we have to, but again, being more conscious. So if you you own a home or a building or something that you monitor the lawn or however, here are some other tips for you as well. Oh, and I think we all kind of remember watering early in the morning because of especially obviously because we're doing it in the summer months and it's hot, so it's basically a waste. So Elevate Energy is we're part of ILSFA, so we're part of Illinois Solar for All sub programs. We are the facilitators of the program. So if anyone wants solar in Illinois, pretty much we're the ones that can help you do that. If But here are some of the sub programs that we actually manage and offer. So again, we like to focus on communities that need it the most. So low income distributed generation. So that's if you so if you're a single family residential, if you have a single family home, and you are living under a certain income level, um, we have programs that help you get solar on your home. Again, the multifamily residential, 2 to 4 unit properties, and then 5 units or larger. We help you get solar. We subsidize it. But again, there's other criteria between that. But if you fall into any of those of what I just mentioned, um, we can talk about you getting solar in your home. If you can still participate in solar, even if you don't have panels on your home, and it's called community solar. And so you sign up for it. And then again, there's other criteria and other details that I'm not too familiar with, but I can definitely put you in contact with someone that can give you more details about how to participate in community solar if that's something that's interesting to you and that you want to do. Um, we really push working with nonprofits, um, daycares, um, churches, libraries, things like that. We like to work with those type of facilities where everyone can kind of participate because, um, again, those sites can be used for other people to use that as like community solar, like I said. So it makes more sense to kind of put panels on a larger facility versus just on someone's home. But again, um, we have a lot of options to help people. So I know solar is so interesting right now. Everyone's all about it, and it's really cool. And it's a lot of information that I'm not too well versed in, but I do had to put this slide in for you guys, just that you know that that if this is something that you're interested in, we can help you with that. And that is me again. So if you have any questions, you can email me at that email. And then regarding especially regarding solar. So if you do have any more questions, because I know I kind of went through that slide pretty loosely, but I definitely can provide you with other resources and information if you want that more. So thank you guys. If you have any questions or feedback, I am happy to hear.
Thank you, Batia. We have one question already in our chat box.
Okay.
It says, with the new meters, can they turn your electricity off without coming to your house?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, like they can disconnect you. Yeah, they can disconnect you. But they can also reconnect you. So typically the disconnection is from a non-payment or something like that. They wouldn't just do it for fun, but they can also reconnect you pretty quickly. So yeah, so we communicate, it's a two-way communication system now with the smart grid. So everything comes up everything's happening way faster.
And then a second question is, I've been advised to use cheap, I think, filters because the heavy duty ones stress the fans on the surface furnace. True?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but I think I don't want to. I would, as just a citizen, as just with whatever random knowledge I have, I would think that um, if it's more expensive and it probably does the same thing, and it probably if so, I think that's maybe why. I don't know. So, um, can you send me that question? I can answer it, but I think I don't. Yeah, I don't. That's an interesting question. Um, I just changed mine, and I got like a $20 one or $15 one, but I don't know what type of furnace you have or what type of home you have. Like I said, I live in a two-bedroom apartment, so I don't think I answered your question, by the way, whoever that was. But
follow-up comment. They said that ultra duty filters were so dense that the air struggled to get through.
oh, okay, okay, and so you had to turn your air. Okay, well, that I guess that makes sense. I mean, yeah, there's so many little things that you can do to, um, yeah. So if that changes how you use your heat or air, then that makes sense.
Yeah, they have another follow-up. It overworked the furnace or AC.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's good. That's good feedback. That's good. Good to know. Thank you for that.
And then we have a request to put up the slide on watering outside again. So
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna go back and let's see. Okay. Here you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If we have any additional questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box or the Q&A box, or if you, because we do have a small group, I can unmute anyone if you'd like to ask your question out loud as well. Sure. I had a question about finding this program on YouTube. I will send out a link to the YouTube content to everybody that was registered. If you'd like me to, I can do that. If you go to if you go to YouTube and type in the search bar Schaumburg Library, it'll bring up our page. And then everything that is available, this program, as well as a bunch of other ones, will be available on our YouTube page. But I'll send out a direct link.
Okay, cool.
Put that in the chat box as well, if you'd like. Give me just a moment and I can do that.
Are there any other slides that someone wants me to pull up that I probably skimmed through that maybe wasn't?
Search bar Schaumburg Library, it'll bring. Here we go. And inside the chat box is a link directly to this program. And then if you take a look on there, you can find other ones as well. Perfect. We've got a question coming in through the Q&A box. Could you turn to the slide that mentioned about checking the refrigerator coils twice a year?
Yes. Oops. Okay. Bear with me, guys. Thank you.
Have that many slides, it's hard to remember the order of everything.
Okay, I think, is it this? Yes, here it is. I think this is it, yes? Yeah, so twice a year, check your refrigerator coils for dust buildup. How do you do that? I don't know.
And then our next request is for that silent toilet leak slide. Tia, would you be comfortable if I sent them the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Sure. So if we'll go ahead and go to those slides as well, but I can also send you a copy of it so that you have all of them. You don't have to screen grab or take a picture with your phone that way.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, you can have the slides. I don't have a problem sharing that. This is good information, and sometimes it's a lot of information, and taking the time to go back and look is perfect. I totally understand that. So yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll go ahead and send those slides.
Okay.
And then I've got a hand raise. Let me see if I. Give me a second, Stargazer, and you're unmuted now. If you had a, oops, almost unmuted. For some reason, the unmute doesn't want to work.
I heard something.
Let's see. Stargazer, it looks like I still have you muted. I did give you permission to talk. Can you try unmuting yourself? Or if you could type in the box, I can relay it again. Oh, okay. If you had another question, feel free to enter it in the box and I can read it out loud if you have a lot of background noise. Uh,
Is he trying to or he or she is trying to?
I think so. The joys of technology. It's wonderful when it.
I know, especially when we need it the most, right? So I just want to leave it at I'll wait for that person to try to um, get in, but there's just a few things that to leave you with ultimately is that um, remembering that um, 68% of your energy loss in your homes are the attic and the basement, not your windows. So you can save a lot of money not replacing your windows. Um, there are a couple things that you can do right away to save money on your electric bill, and that is um, uh, sign up for hourly pricing and peak time savings. Peak time savings, again, is not the most bang for your buck, but it helps the grid and it helps the environment. And that is the reason that helps the environment is because when the demand is so high on the grid, um, uh, nuclear power plants in Southern Illinois, they have to be regenerated to help, produce electricity. And, nuclear power plants aren't the best for the environment. So if we can reduce it at the peak times of the day, it really does help. And you can get like 40 cents credit on your electricity bill. Um, and so those are the few things I want to leave you with ultimately. And again, you'll get the slides so you can go through and double check. And then if you have a multi-family building, that's two or more units in a building or a nonprofit, um, we really like to focus on nonprofits. Um, but both opportunities, we can help you subsidize costs to be more energy efficient. And that includes solar as well. So those are some takeaways that I would like to leave with you. Um, and then again, you'll get the slides and you can do more.
And that last question that we were struggling to figure out how to get was, how does the peak program work?
Okay, so peak time savings. So both programs, you can go online, and all you need is like your account. So if you have your comment bill in front of you, it takes 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, um, to do, and you just sign up, and it's immediate. So peak time savings is immediate. Hourly pricing takes a couple of bill cycles because um, it's going based on the market price. So it might take 30 days to see some actual savings. Like I said, I just recently did it, and I'm ashamed to say, but I'm just being honest. A couple months ago, and like I said, they send you an email, and I saved 58% on my ComEd bill this month. So that's just with the hourly pricing. At peak time savings, like I said, I got like a 40-cent credit the other day. But again, it helps. So all
Uh,
of these things you can do online, and they just take a couple minutes. And if you want to call, you can call comment. They will help you as well, but you can do them online.
Fantastic. We do have a comment from one of our watchers that says, my husband and I regularly make $6 during peak time savings just by raising our thermostat up by 4 degrees.
What? That's
So
awesome.
worth it.
That's
Um,
that's see, I mean, $6. Come on. Especially if you use a lot of electricity, if you're, and yeah, and you just reduce a little bit. That's good feedback.
it
Thank you.
is. And then a follow-up about the peak program. Do you get penalized if you do run your stuff in peak time? If
No.
you don't normally run stuff till night, is there any benefit?
Um, first of all, you do not get penalized. That's why it's you might as well sign up for it. No, you do not get penalized if you don't reduce your electricity at that peak time that they request you to do. So no there's no penalization at all. Um, what's the next part of that?
Um, I think you answered that two-parter. And then another
Okay.
follow-up about it is what hours are usually peak?
Um, so the other day I got a text that was like 1 to 5. I'm like, that's a lot of hours. But um, on average, it's like between 2 and 6, 3 and 5 even. I mean, it depends on how hot it is. Um, but between 2 and 6 is like maybe an app that's the safest bet. But again, if you sign up for peak time savings, you get a an alert from ComEd requesting that, you know, this is the peak time. So they'll tell you what the times are.
Fantastic. The follow-up to that was I usually run my dishwasher at night. If I sign up, would I get a benefit?
Yeah, because it's not peak time. So if you don't, if you're reducing your electricity at the time that they're requesting, you will probably get a credit. Again, it's not going to be that much, but someone just saved $6, so that's a nice credit. Um, but again, it depends on how much electricity you normally use, which kind of helps how much you get credited back. But no, you will there's no penalty at all.
Fantastic. Great. I think that may be it for questions. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy to have you here. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out. We can send them on to Batia and get them answered for you. And I will share those slides, and you now have the link to the YouTube presentation if you want to watch this again. So thank you all.
Oh, wait, hold on. I want to say bye. Let's hold on.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm like, okay, let's how do I get out of here? This is, you guys, it's like my first time doing a Zoom presentation. I mean, I've been doing Skype mostly, but let's see. I think this is it. Oh, what do I stop share? That's what I'll do. Oh, bye. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Annie.
Thank you, Batia.
Okay, have a good day. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye, folks. See ya.